I've been doing a lot of spontaneous little trips recently, probably just getting an itch to go out and do something a little bit further away, which I might have something that I'm working on soon, but no guarantees on that yet. But anyway, today I am heading up to Hasita Head. I want to go tide pooling because it's the end of the month and tides are pretty low tonight. So I'm going to try and go to Bob's Creek, which I've heard has some pretty good tide pooling, and that's close to Yahets. So it's still before noon here at Hasita Head, and so I'm going to try and go up to the lighthouse. Might do a little bit of sketching, maybe a watercolor, depend on what I'm feeling. But I at least want to get up to see it. Haven't been inside the lighthouse in a while, so hopefully I can get in there. Well, I actually got to the lighthouse a little early. I was about half an hour early for the base of it to open up so you can go inside. So I decided to just sit and do some watercolors. Thankfully, I wasn't sitting over here where there's approximately 10 million ants. But I was just up here where I didn't have to deal with any. And I did another in my little booklet here. I think it turned out pretty well. It's not perfect, but none of them are. I'm always gonna have frustrations with them, but it was a pretty good day and it was too good of an opportunity to pass up. I'm really gonna try and start filling this thing out with all the little places that I get to see out here. I've done a few paintings of Hasita Head, but I haven't done one from this angle, so I figured it would be a good time to do it. I think I got a video once when I first came in here. Still can't head up. Still too much damage for them to worry about, but get a quick little glimpse from the bottom. I didn't mean to kill as much time as I ended up doing here. That painting took a bit longer than I anticipated, but it's right around noon right now. Thankfully I got a pretty good start on the morning. So I think from here I'm gonna start heading up. I'm probably only gonna go to Yahets today. I don't think I'm gonna go any further. Try and grab lunch there and maybe walk around town a little bit. I haven't really checked out the shops in Yahets, but yeah, glad I got to stop back up here. I need to come by more often. It's really just such an awesome spot. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful places on the coast, so I think I need to really appreciate that while I'm here. So I realized after I left Hasita Head that I don't know if today was the best day to do a watercolor for it, because it's such a beautiful day and I was already heading up to Yahets. I should have went to Cape Perpetua and done a nice big watercolor from the viewpoint up there, because I really want to do that sometime. I did a sketch last time, which I still need to finish, and I might go and do that later, but I really wanted to do a watercolor, so I'll save that for another time. And right now I'm kind of hanging around downtown. I already walked around a little bit, poked into a couple shops, and they have a community park, so there's a couple boardwalks here through the wetlands, and I'll be hanging out here for a little bit, just kind of checking out these little urban trails. I will say the park isn't showing it off too much right now. Not a lot of things blooming quite yet. I mean, it's still not even March, but nothing's really blooming yet. But you can smell it in the air. There's a lot of vegetation that is kind of just wafting around. If you look closely, some of the things are starting to pop out. This looks like salal. I think it is. It's not looking super healthy, but I know in other spots I've seen it blooming, and that's a good sign that spring is on the way for out here. Won't be long now till stuff starts to open up. So it's about low tide right now. The original plan was to go to Bob's Creek. That's the place that I've had recommended quite a few times, which is a little further down the coast here. But the problem is, it is packed full of people. That was packed. I think Strawberry Hill was packed. Neptune looked like it was a little bit more open, but that area doesn't really quite have the access to the bigger chunks of basalt where the tide pools really are. So right now I'm at Gwynn Creek, I think it is. I'll try and look around here for a little bit, and if I find some interesting spots, then I'll stick around. If not, I'll try my luck again further down the coast and kind of just see what works out. So there is a pretty big pool up here. It's got quite a lot of stuff going on in it. I mean, there's like the anemones, there's a sea star. I'm not seeing a whole lot of other stuff though. And I will note, this is still like, I don't know, a good 6 feet or so above the actual water line. So I'd be surprised if there was actually much of anything aside from these guys in here. I don't think that the nudibranchs or whatever would get washed up here in the surf very often. So I might look around for a little bit longer. Obviously I can only go so close to the edge. But yeah, might end up leaving here in a little bit, try another place. So I did end up making it to Bob's Creek. Try and hang out here, see what I can find. Maybe for an hour or so. Tide's gonna be coming up pretty soon here. I'll just have to keep an eye on the water and not put myself anywhere stupid. It's still very windy here, so it's hard to move around, and it's not very easy to get close to the waves. But there's been a couple things that I've found. There's definitely more sea stars here. There's a purple rock crab that was hiding somewhere down here. I'll see if I can try and find him again. He was a pretty good sized one. Well, I can't find him, but he was hiding down here somewhere. It was a good sized one, about the size of my hand. Probably one of the bigger ones that I've seen. Hopefully I can find some more stuff before water comes up too much further. Well, this is as close as I'm probably gonna get. I'm gonna head back soon because this water's coming up pretty quick. Out here, there's some good pockets of starfish and everything. There's probably more to look at on a bit easier day, but there's some really deep pools here, and this has like that, I don't know if this is specifically eelgrass or another type of seagrass, but it's got a lot of cover here. There's some really deep pools. I'm really hoping I can find an octopus someday. I've heard that people have found them out here, so it's not super uncommon, just unlikely. Someday, maybe, but today looks like I'm gonna start working my way back for safety. Yeah, waves are getting pretty high right now. I was just about to start recording and a big one was coming up. It didn't get nearly anywhere up here, but it was crashing around in those pools up on this little head here. So I'm gonna start working my way back. Yeah, it's just kind of hit or miss with the Pacific, whether or not it's gonna be a super windy day, and I'm sure it just gets channeled around the head here. So probably pretty hard to have a perfect conditions day out here. Plus, even on a day like today, the parking lot is packed. It was ridiculous. I mean, there's probably a bunch of people parked illegally over there. I'm fine, I'm on the other side of the road. I shouldn't be worried about anything else. But yeah, a lot of people come out here and it looks like to hunt for agates, which I'm assuming is legal. Hopefully it is, because it really sucks if everyone's out here poaching them. But anyway, maybe I'll try and come back out here another time when it's a little bit warmer, a little bit less windy, and a little bit more convenient. So one thing I just noticed as I was walking back, this is where the Bob's Creek actually runs out at. So it comes down these rocks and then it finally hits the ocean. But right here at the surf line, are all these little sacks. They look like egg sacks. And I'm wondering if these are salmon. I feel like I just read about seeing salmon eggs recently. These don't quite look like how I remember salmon eggs looking, so I don't know. Could be something completely different. I'm not 100% sure, but they're here, whatever they are, and a whole bunch of them all littered around like used condoms. Kind of gross, but neat. I thought about heading back up to Cape Perpetua, but I figured I'd spent enough time up there today, and I want to get that painting done another time. So now I am heading to Hobbit Beach. I haven't done this trail. I did do the trail that splits off and goes all the way to the lighthouse. I think I recorded that. That was a while ago. But this is the actual beach hike. It's very short, so won't take very long to get there. But I thought that would be a nice thing to do at sunset, or at least late in the day. And I think that'll probably be it for this video. I think this is the section that people usually post about when they're here, with all the low pine trees creating a thicket. Oh, I think these are spruce trees. Making that little thicket and then finally opening up to the beach here. Ooh, watch my step. But yeah, very pretty. Still pretty windy over here. Pretty foggy over that way too. I don't even think I can see where I was at Bob's Creek, but yeah, you can see all the windswept Sitka spruce. Probably Sitkas, might be a few shore pines in there as well. Moon's not quite full. Still got a little ways to go. I think the lunar eclipse is next week, and I'll have to set my alarm for that so I can come out and see it. But yeah, this is really pretty right now. I don't know how interesting most people will find this, but you see all the sand getting ripped around on the beach here. Most of it's pretty wet, but there are some pockets of the lighter dry stuff. Right here, you can barely see it getting pushed back. If I did a time lapse of this little puddle here, you would see the sand start drifting that way. And that's the same thing that's happening with the larger sections of the dunes. And here, that's not a big issue. There's not supposed to be a lot of vegetation. They're supposed to be moving around like this. That's why you see a lot of the tree islands, and there's like endemic species that exist there, and in the wetlands that hide beneath the swales between them. But in Michigan, you see these dunes moving a lot more, and that's because they're becoming destabilized when Michigan's dunes usually rely on a decent amount of vegetation to keep them in place. So in places like Silver Lake, where there's a lot of OHV recreation, you will see these huge dunes moving like several feet per year and start absorbing some of the houses that have been built right next to them, because people don't realize that this sand moves. So I think that's really cool to kind of point out on this small scale here. Look at that. When I started recording, it was probably around right here, and it's already pushed back. I'll hold my finger there just to kind of let it go a little bit longer. And I'm probably blocking some of the wind too, so it's not even moving quite that fast. But yeah, it's already pushing away quite a bit. That's really cool. Glad I caught that. Another thing I just noticed in the sand here is this little trail that leads around. It looked like an animal, and what do you know? There he is. Little worm. I have no idea. This could literally just be an earthworm that somehow managed to wind up on the beach, or it could be a type of oceanic worm. I'm not sure. I really wish that there were more classes around here that were like community education type things, where I could learn about what type of mollusks and stuff. I have some tide pool books, but I definitely don't have a lot of the biological understanding of the taxonomic tree and stuff like that. But I love seeing little stuff out here. Maybe I'll try and check and see what he is on iNaturalist and
put it on screen.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. Next thing I have planned is trying to watch for the lunar eclipse. So hopefully that works out pretty well. Other than that, nothing specific for a little while. I'm crossing my fingers and I'm going to be hearing from jobs pretty soon. I think I already heard back from one, and it's one that I was kind of hoping would wait a little bit longer. But I'll cross my fingers that next week will be some better news. But only time will tell.